Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here today. Protecting Florida's consumers from scams, fraud, and abuse is one of my top priorities and one of our department's core missions. I take seriously my job to hold accountable those who defraud or deceive Floridians, especially those who take advantage of charitable giving. We are Florida's Consumer Protection Agency, the state's watchdog against bad actors and deceptive practices. Since I took office, we have not hesitated to take action to consumer abuse. We issued a $345,000 fine for 171 alleged violations of the state's telemarketing law, illegally spamming consumers to market auto warranties. We joined 38 states in the federal government to shut down a massive charity scam that made over $1 billion calls to 67 million consumers. We followed up on consumer complaints and investigated We Build the Wall, a scam charity enriching its founder, who is now indicted on wire fraud, money laundering, and federal tax charges. We have taken action to protect Floridians, and that continues today. On November 26, 2020, we received a complaint about a website, defundingtherepublic.org, that appeared to be raising money without properly being registered. Under state law, all charitable organizations soliciting donations in Florida must be registered with our department as the state's regulator of charities. This is critical for transparency. Charities are required to file financial statements so consumers see exactly how their money is spent. Defending the Republic is affiliated with Cindy Powell, a former attorney for former President Donald Trump and established as a legal fund involved in conspiracies in the so-called rigged presidential election. When we spoke to Defunding the Republic seeking answers, they intimated, "Oh, that's not us. You've got the wrong people. It must be the other defending the Republic." The response to the subpoena that we told a very different story. The Defending the Republic website is, in fact, affiliated with Sidney Powell and is, in fact, the same one allegedly operating in violation of Chapter 496 of the Florida statutes. And as I can share today, that we have served Defending the Republic, Inc. with an administrative complaint, alleged multiple violations of Florida law. These violations include failing to comply with state law requiring charity registration and obtaining contributions by means of deceptive, false pretense, misrepresentation, or false promise. We are seeking to have Defunding the Republic cease and desist specified charitable activities, and we intend to take further action, which may include an administrative fine of $15,000. I now will turn things over to Rick Kimsley, our Director of Division of Consumer Services, who will provide more details on this action.
Good morning. Thank you. As the Commissioner said, a consumer complaint was received by the Department in November 2020, indicating that Defending the Republic, aka Sidney Powell PC, was soliciting donations from Florida residents as an unregistered charity. A registration inquiry letter was sent by the Department in December 2020 to Defending the Republic Election Integrity Fund, Sidney Powell PC. No response was received from the organization in relation to this inquiry. Later, an investigative case was initiated against Defending the Republic in January 2021 for operating this unregistered charity. During the investigation, a website was discovered by department staff requesting donations be sent to a West Palm Beach address, which indicates that there is a charity and it is operating unregistered in the state. This administrative complaint was issued in February 2021 to Defending the Public PAC, also soliciting as Defending the Republic. Defending the Republic PAC responded, as indicated by the Commissioner, to the Department that the administrative complaint was issued to the wrong entity. The Department followed up with additional investigations, and we issued a subpoena to the domain host for the website. The response from that subpoena indicated that Sidney Powell, who is a principal of Defending the Republic, Inc., a Texas nonprofit corporation, was in complete control of that website. A new administrative complaint was issued on June 15, 2021 to Defending the Republic, Inc. for failure to register and misrepresentation. Defending the Republic will have 21 days to respond to the allegations made by the department.
Thank you, Rick. This is serious. When asking people for donations in the state of Florida, if you don't follow the law and if you misrepresent and deceive what you're doing, we will hold you accountable. No matter who you are, whether big or small, whether a bad actor, a scammer, or a former lawyer for the former president, we will apply the law equally. Defending the Republic now has some choices to make. They can do the things the right way and come into compliance with the law, or they can continue to break the law, misrepresent themselves, and face fines, court orders, and more. I hope this sends a message. If you take advantage of Floridians, if you think the rules don't apply to you, we will release a Kraken of our own. Thank you.
Questions? Can you explain how this organization falls under the category of, was it a or a charitable organization or a nonprofit? I guess, are they donating this money after the fact, or how do
Right. Chapter 496 in Florida requires anyone soliciting from the state of Florida or soliciting donations to, or soliciting donations from Floridians to register under Chapter 496. So the nonprofit status does not make a difference. If they can be a nonprofit, they do not have to be a nonprofit. It's the solicitation that brings you into the realm of 496.
What was so it's operating in Florida, but it's a national outreach.
Yes, and they are located in Florida and soliciting from Florida from a West Palm Beach address. Their website asks donations to be specifically sent to this address in West Palm Beach.
And that's what gives you jurisdiction.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
That's what gives you jurisdiction.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how much money they collected from Florida?
We do not. Part of the registration process is to disclose financial information to consumers so that they can make an informed choice on where they give their money, where their money is being applied. And because they have not registered, we do not have access to their financial records.
What was the nature of the deceptive, practices? I mean, what were they claiming the money was going to be for, and do you know what the money was used for? Was it just they didn't register?
The deceptive claims on their website were updated after our original inquiry. They posted a disclosure claiming to be registered in the state of Florida and claiming that they could get financial information from the department, as well as making claims that they were registered in many other states that we have not been able to find out if it's true or not.
That's what it was. They claimed they were registered when they weren't.
Correct.
Okay.
But they are now?
They are not.
But they say they are.
Yes.
So I can sort of envision what the response from maybe some conservatives might be. Obviously, you're the lone statewide elected Democrat. This is an investigation into an attorney that used to represent the former president. What do you have to say if someone were to claim this is maybe a partisan targeting of a conservative lawyer?
Not at all. We, as I've said in this statement and continue to say, if any organization, I don't care what the goal was of the organization, same thing with We Build the Wall, we've gone after telemarketers. If somebody is going to defraud the people of our state, I have an obligation, sworn obligation, to defend the people of our state, regardless of the political organization, regardless of their mission. And so we are going to continue to do our job. And I think just the opposite, that can be said, that if in fact that I was from a different party affiliation, that I may have turned a blind eye, and I don't care. That is not who I am. That's not my job. My job is to hold everybody accountable, regardless of the mission of that organization and regardless of where their money is allegedly going.
Is it the problem that they committed actual fraud, or that they haven't disclosed the information that would let you know whether they committed actual fraud?
The defraud and misrepresentation claim is based on the fact that they're telling consumers that they are registered in the state of Florida. We have not had a look at the financials to determine where that money is going.
Because they're not turning them over.
That's correct.
So it's like a it's this two-step. That's part of the reason why an organization has to register, is so that it is transparent and that the people of the state that are giving their hard-earned money, this is the time when people are giving of themselves and giving, and so they need to be transparent, and so that people know exactly where why the money is being collected, where the money is going, be able to look at their own, and I say this all the time, making sure that there's no too much money is going to administrative costs and not to an actual benefit of the good. And without them registering, we have no access to know exactly where that money is going, and to make sure, more importantly, that the people of the state know where the money is going.
How aggressively does the department monitor these disclosures? Or is it routine? How does that work?
Yes, sir. So upon registration, they are required to submit their 990s that are part of their taxes, or provide a financial disclosure provided by the department on the department form. Those are reviewed by department staff at each application and renewal, and they are posted on our website, fdax.gov, in order for consumers to go out and look at the financial information and make that informed decision.
And I think too, on that note, we see it a lot, unfortunately, right around hurricane season. We saw that a lot during COVID. Organizations popping up trying to solicit dollars and not being registered with us. And it's always one of the biggest warnings that we have during hurricane season. During actual, after the Bahamas, we saw a lot of charitable organizations start to solicit money, and we need to make sure why they need to register is so that we know exactly what they're doing is above board, is legal, and the people, again, that are giving of their dollars know exactly where this money is going to.
How did the specific organization come to your awareness that they weren't registered?
As I said earlier, we actually had a complaint come in from a consumer complaining that they found this charity soliciting and brought that to our attention through our consumer complaint process, and we followed up on that.
You mentioned a $15,000 fine, I believe. Has that already been levied against them? And then, as a follow-up, you mentioned perhaps other, sanctions and stuff. But I mean, is that the fine, the punishments? What other? I guess this doesn't seem to be criminal right now, but I mean, where is it going? I guess, and what could be?
Sure. Right now, the department has issued an administrative complaint. An administrative complaint is an allegation intending to seek a fine of up to $15,000. There are multiple avenues that could happen here. The charity could engage with us and negotiate a settlement that included registration. They could ignore us over the next 21 days, where we will seek an immediate final or default final order, which would include cease and desist language and a monetary fine.
Are they actively still seeking donations in Florida? And what are they? So back to my other question, what are they asking the money for?
It's very vague statements on the website. I would direct you to their website, defendingtherepublic.org.
But they are still soliciting, and that's part of the issue, is that they are still actively soliciting money, have not complied with the rules of our statutes, have, as you heard from my statements too, when we went out and tried to get them into compliance, they claimed this wasn't them, and so already was deceiving us when we were trying to at least get them into compliance. And we do that all the time, and it's something that I have held true during my entire administration, that while I am the regulator, I want people to get into compliant, and so we make overtures with organizations, say, hey, you're out of compliant, let's walk you through this, because the last thing we want to do is to also, if they're doing good, is to also harm them from being able to continue doing good. So we are very much work with organizations to get them into compliance. The last thing we want to do is use our stick. And so when we tried to do that with this organization, they fought back and deceived us in saying that this wasn't them, and tried to make us go into a wild goose chase. And so now we have to take formal action.
Commissioner, is $15,000 the ultimate amount that you guys can fine, or is it per offense, or how would something like that?
Yes, under the statute and department rules, the two counts that we've alleged, unregistration or non-registration is a $5,000 administrative fine, and misrepresentation is a $10,000 administrative fine, maximum.
Is that a deterrent? Is that, for somebody pulling in how much money these guys are?
Well, if they don't pay these fines, then it can affect future registration. We will deny registration if they don't pay those fines. And as the commissioner said, the ultimate goal here is compliance, not the stick.
So if they don't comply within 21 days, can you continue to levy that same fine on them for, could they get fined $15,000 a month or?
No, sir. The statute doesn't allow for that. The next step would be a default final order, and then the department, if that is not responded to, then the department may have to seek additional remedies in the courts.
Can you shut them down?
You know, I think with the court system, we'd be able to, but I think that part of this is, again, the reason why we have these statutes is to give transparency to the people. And if in fact, you know, they don't comply with the law, we have, you know, certain parameters inside of our, you know, under our umbrella, but more importantly is getting this message out, which is why you all are here, is getting this message out to consumers saying this is not an organization who is above board, and that is self-serving in some respects. And so it's to also be a consumer, you know, alert that the consumer should not be giving to this organization if they are not compliant and transparent. So people who are giving money don't know where the money is going towards. For all we know, Sydney could be pocketing all the money, and we just don't know. And that's why these laws are in place and these statutes are in place, is to make sure that we are doing everything we can to be consumer watchdog and getting this information out to the consumers.
Have you guys spoken to the Attorney General about any of this? Is that escalated to that level, or could
No, not at this point.
Governor DeSantis wants to send Florida law enforcement.
We're talking about this. We can talk about that later.
Do you have a message for Cindy Powell?
Yes, get into compliance. I mean, this is very simple. You know, comply with the rules of the state of Florida. Work with us, get registered, be transparent about where the money is going to, what it's going towards, and how much money you're getting and what you're soliciting for. This is a very simple message, and it's also a simple message to all those others who are going to try to defraud the people of our state. We have a zero tolerance, and we, regardless of what the premise of the organization is, we are going to come full force and make them into compliance and do whatever we can to protect our consumers.
Last question.
How are these cases adjudicated? Is it administratively or is it a regular court?
Administratively.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you.
I do not.
What's your name? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. It's Rick Kinsey.
R-I-C-K?
Yes. Yes.
And you're...
I mean, I'm happy to ask you. I think it's
no one ever wants to talk to the flag.
it's more background stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And if it's on this, you may also want to rip. If it's on something else, okay. The DEP thing. Not something I have an answer to right now, because I don't know what the next step is. Hold on, let me stop.